Rocco, our favorite rock. Rocco, 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 our favorite rock.
The point is, to me, real estate's freaking easy because I look at this stuff and I go, I know what to do. Stocks, I don't know. So don't ever expect Meet Kevin to sell you a stock investing course.
Okay, I should be serious. Oh, boom. There we go. Hold on a second. How is everyone? 1 second. Usually I have to make sure everything's on. So it is Howl, my dedicated Twitter follower. I still don't quite understand how Twitter works. I just put stuff up every like day or maybe once or twice a day at most. I couldn't imagine posting more than that. Thoughts on Drake versus Ken? Bro, I'm a rock guy. I don't really follow rap. I can tell you about all the new like metal bands, basically. Other than that, I don't know. Hope nobody gets shot. How about that? What makes you and Fabio so special to trade options? Because we make money at it. I don't know. What else is there? I make money at it, but I'm not training anyone. I barely talk about it on this channel because I still believe most of you shouldn't be doing it. And if you looked at the percentage of my wealth that's involved in this, it's very small. So, yeah. And I think people that pretend to trade you teach you how to do things like that. It's just weird. Mitt has done big wins on options. Mitt's wins on options are like luck. Some of the ones I've seen him do. And plus, the one he did with his mom's money, dude, he gambled his mom's fucking retirement money. That was not cool. Just because it worked out doesn't mean it was a good thing that he did that. Great intros. Ban Gil. Gil has not done anything wrong. Me, Kevin made money on options with Tesla. Does that make him special? Well, if you took his little win that he had on that one short on Tesla, that doesn't nearly cover all the losses that he sustained. He bought Tesla literally at the top after Giga Austin. He bought it. Go look at the chart. I think it was April of 2022. He bought it. And then he just sold it like a few months ago. I mean, he's sustained massive losses on those things. So his little option play doesn't erase that. Oh, snap. We got a fraud charge. Oh, yeah. What's on the screen? BF Borgers. That's right. That's who they are. So, Minute Kevin made more money than you on it trading options. Share it publicly before they did it. Bro. Amit has not made more money trading options than me. Guarantee you. I have more money than Amit. I will tell you that right now. I guarantee you I have more money than Amit. So, and to some degree, like I said, Meet Kevin's gotten wrecked on Tesla. That little win doesn't erase that. And Amit, he has no strategy. He's just randomly picking stocks sometimes. He just buys what's popular. Hey, he's doing good though. Lots of people watch Amit. I watch Finance Junkies from time to time. I'm entertained. You ain't living if you can't gamble. Yeah. I recognize that I enjoy having some fun with investing. Like Josh Brown said it too. If you watch The Compound, Josh Brown, he recognizes, like I do, the indexes and are the way to go, right? For wealth. But he also recognizes he likes stocks and he likes researching things and he has some investments. So I'm kind of in the same boat more these days. But otherwise, why would I have this channel? If I went completely index, I would just turn this channel off. Like, what would be the point of even talking about these things? So I wouldn't even bother. So I could tell you, if they get their way and there's 24-hour trading, if that ever comes to be a thing, 24-hour stocks, I'm out. I just don't want to do it. If we get to the point where stocks trade 24 hours a day, I'm not talking about after hours after hours is not true market activity. It's different. But if it was like open markets all day, every day, man, nope. I'm just going freaking big diversified indexes and just let the market do its thing. I wouldn't even bother. I mean, freaking at night, you'd have to worry about stuff. When will you and Fabio do a joint option course? Again, I don't know, like, you want to call me cocky, it's fine. I have a good win rate on options and shorting. Do I care to share that with you? No. I'm not going to tell you how I do it because I really don't care to. When people want to teach you how to do this stuff, I'm like very curious. Like, why would you tell people if you're successful? Why would you tell people? Why? Because the truth is they're not, and they want to make more money just selling a course or whatever. But it's on you. Money never sleeps. But again, it's a very small amount of money to me. So, I should see. I think Fabio wanted to come on. Hold on. If he wants to. I don't know how long. I'm losing steam here. All right, let me. So this is kind of interesting. So we'll get what happened to this firm that got in trouble with the SEC. So this is kind of in my wheelhouse to some degree. I did work at the CPA. I did work at the CPA board of New York actually for a year. So I know some about some various points of this. But so this company, BF Borgers CPA PC, got in trouble with the PCAOB, who oversees the peer reviews and registering of firms in America, so they're allowed to do like audits of public companies. Okay, so the firms have to be registered, which means they have to have a certain level of competency and standards are met, so then they can go do audits of companies like the Trump media company, right? So what they found, complete gross negligence of standards. Apparently they were cutting this guy. It's like just this guy. So maybe this is what they caught on to, is it was like this one guy running this huge operation of all these filings. It just couldn't possibly happen. So I guess he was caught like cut and pasting previous reviews to the next review and just, obviously things you're not supposed to do. He wasn't actually doing proper sampling of documents as required by auditing standards. So they went after him. This is not new. So I will show you in a minute. But so reading the article, SEC charged this accounting firm, which is one guy, so deliberate systematic failures, more than 1,500 audits, which is wild. Because to do a full-blown audit just by yourself, that's probably what caught their attention. There's no possible way a person could do this. And yes, you can't use AI to do these things. Sorry to tell you that. Failure to abide by accounting rules, fabricating documents. That's a bit. It's one thing to be negligent, like not looking at the documents you said you were looking at, let's say. So let's say you have a sampled item. Maybe they didn't actually look at it. They just said they did. I don't know. Falsifying statement. Oof, this is not great. So big fine. So they got removed from PCAOB, so they can't do public firms anymore. They can't do audits. and filings, most likely. So this is the company. So this is their page. This is funny. Like, and he still has on here PCAOB audits. So that's not right, which I busted a few firms too that we knew. When I had available time at the CPA board, I would just search for CPA firms in New York. Sometimes I would just look up anybody with a New York address, and then I would check their firm status if I had time. I didn't do it all the time, but so Colorado would be responsible for him because he's in Colorado, because it's by state, just for people if you care. So he cannot do these anymore. So he still can be in business, right? He can do other accounting services that are not specified. He can't do like 10Ks, 10Qs, public filings of corporations. He can still do like individual taxes. He can do certain assurances, stuff like that. Like a lot of tax stuff he can probably still do. So it's not like he might not be out of business. It's certain things he now cannot do. And then there's a difference between, this is probably going too easy. There's CPA licensed person, right? Then there's CPA firm here. So now you're okay. So the firm must be more than one. No. You can have a CPA here, and then you can have the same person running a CPA firm. So two different licensures and issues. So to confuse you, it is a kind of interesting system. So here is his last. I went to the PCAOB site to search his firm because anybody can do this. So obviously you can see they were terminated as of last year. And then what's funny is that rating is fail, right? So there's three. So peer review is another CPA firm will do a review of you to detect if you have the ability to do audits yourself of public companies. So it's called a peer review. You have to do them on a regular basis, and then that firm produces a letter that indicates the findings, and it's pass with deficiencies, and fail. Fail. No, when I worked at the CPA board, fail is like extremely rare. The vast majority of issues are pass with deficiencies, which means they have an opportunity to do a corrective action plan. They don't lose their licensure. Pass with deficiencies, they have to make corrections. They can still operate. Fail, like, I mean, it's exactly what you think. Fail, they're out of business. They can't do this type of audit work. They can still be accountants, not this type though. So if you pull up the peer review, let me pull it up separately. Stop screen. Let's share. I don't know why. I literally cannot save this. I don't know if it's something with the PCAOB. They don't want you to save them. It's so weird. Like, look, the save button's blanked out. So whatever. So this was the last one on file. Is this the last one that's there might have been a 2023. I don't know. This is the one that's on the server. They're usually behind. So you can see if we go down, significant deficiencies identified with the firm's system of internal quality controls, right? So the internal controls of this firm, are they in place that allow them to do audits of public companies? Like their work papers. You have work papers that are prepared that an auditor will fill out. Like in my office, it's a work papers exhibit sheet, which is like Excel documents. Then there's a narrative, which is where you'd describe what happened. There's a questionnaire, and then there's a letter report you produce at the end. Everyone's different. So the firm will come in and make sure that your work papers are sufficient for the audit work you're doing. I haven't done peer reviews, obviously. I can just give you basics of it. So they talk about here, then they look at past work the firm has done to make sure it's compliant. So right here, they get them on 4 audit reviewed. The documentation was incomplete or lacking regarding preliminary analysis, engagement team discussions, IT consideration, internal controls, big issue, walkthroughs, and required management communications. This is like a complete, so no supporting documentation, basically. This is the big deal. You have to have documentation of your work. Like when we do our reviews, there's an entrance email indicating who we are, what we're going to do, meeting times. And then there's records of meetings. There is a letter report at the end, which indicates the actual end of the review and our findings, stuff like that. So they didn't have it. it's missing. And then here on one audit review, the financial statements were not properly presented, defined contribution plan, lack of appropriate CPE combined with inadequate engaged acceptance review. Like, this is bad. They're just complete failure of standards of auditing. Firms' quality control policies and procedures regarding engagement, performance monitoring, leadership have not been suitably designed or complied with to provide reasonable assurance that audit engagements are consistently performed in accordance with professional standards. This term comes up in auditing a lot. Reasonable assurance, reasonability. You know, would a normal person do whatever you did? That's like the reasonableness standard. So then you can see down here, their opinion, fail. So this would go to the peer review board of Colorado. They would have discussed this, and the firm did respond. We're not going to go over that. They did respond. It wasn't acceptable, apparently. This is the firm. So this was out there. Point is, though, this firm was doing this audit work for the Donald Trump organization, and this is from 2022. But when was this posted on the servers? Who knows? But they probably should have asked for this. But they're not going to be. I tell you, they're not the only firm. There's other firms that don't check this stuff, which you should probably check the peer review of an audit firm that's going to do your corporate filings. So big mistake. Here's one of their responses. This is public record. So they respond to that letter, and then it goes back and forth. There's meetings, there's public meeting, private meeting of the peer review board, which is part of the CPA board of your state. And they decide what to do with these firms. So I bet a lot of you didn't know there's CPA licensed people individually, and then there's the CPA firms licensed separately that have to be part of a peer review program if they do certain types of work. And this all becomes from legislation from Enron, basically. Honestly, a lot of it comes from Enron. So there's that. All right, let's basically done with this. We'll show one more thing. All for my accountant peeps, right? This is fascinating. So, so there's terminated. So they filed. Here's some of the filings. They talked about what happened. So again, like, public firms release 8Ks when something of interest to shareholders happens, right? So some people would argue that maybe Starbucks should have put out some sort of file or statement like this before that terrible earnings, but whatever, because it was just a substantial difference from their guidance. Is what it is. So they were saying, let's see, they dismissed this company and they replaced them with Semple, this one. And you could look this one up and see if they're any better. See if maybe they are not failing. I hope Trump organization did it too. Recommendation from their audit committee. Also, the fact that this company got sued by the SEC, that might have had something to do with it. That's kind of funny. And then there's also this lingering issue of them like writing letters. The guy in charge of this company is writing letters. That David Nunes guy, who used to be a congressman, he's like accusing everyone of like manipulation of the stock and shorting it and all this garbage. So he wrote like a letter to the state of Florida to investigate this. This is like nonsense. So if you're going to buy this stock, I mean, you know what you're buying, right? It's fundamentally, there's nothing to this thing. It is either a day trade of some sort, swing trade thing, or some sort of play you're going to have on the election, some sort of momentum arb thing. But I mean, financials, like, what the hell? Why are you even going to look at the financials? You know what this company is. So, like, is this failure of the CPA firm their fault at Truth Social? I don't know. Who knows how much due diligence did they do to look this firm up? Maybe this was literally the only firm that was going to do their work. Maybe that was a warning sign in the first place. So there's that. Okay, hold on. What should we do next? Let me pull up. And okay. What comments do we have? Let's see. We're stuck with huge cash. CVS or oh boy. So man. I got kind of in an argument with people about CVS. I think last year in some live streams. So because I compared Home Depot to CVS, which I think is a good for retail people. Two giant companies, which very mature businesses, and they both took very different paths, right? They both got to the point where their growth kind of like Home Depot's building new stores like crazy, right? CVS building new CVSs. At some point, they hit a wall. The growth story stopped, and then it was like, what do you do? And Home Depot went in one direction with their cash, and CVS went another as far as what they were going to do for investors. So, and you can compare the results, right? So, I have not looked favorably on what CVS did with the merger stuff, and I didn't really feel. I believe management saying they were done with it, and then they get hit with this I think it was a Medicare reimbursement got dropped. So, I'm not a fan. And then Bristol Myers, man, disastrous acquisitions, disastrous. I mean, it's almost the same kind of a similar issue, actually. Just terrible destruction of goodwill. Oof. I don't really. I have very small amount of Merc, so man, Gil, you got to let it go, dude. It's okay. I don't know who you're holding accountable because, like, bro, it's such a small thing, Nas. When we've okay, you already said that. Cole, he did not shut off his internet yet. If someone's doing it all by themselves and they're both preparing, reviewing, and signing, not surprised PCO slammed them so quickly. Yeah, so Fig Alias is actually a CPA, people. I don't think he works at a CPA firm. I'm 99% sure you don't. But we all kind of get how this stuff works. Can you print a PDF? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, most work papers published companies will have 3 to 5 people sign off on it. Yeah. So like my people do the fiscal reviews, right? I look at it, send it back to them, or I approve it. I send it up to my boss, who's a lawyer. She does the same thing. Then it goes to another person above her, final sign off. If there's a serious problem with a grant, it can go all the way to the next level up, and it can go all the way to I had to once defend a review or explain it to a deputy commissioner. So dependent, for my purposes, yeah, there's like 4 to 5 layers for reviews, but is what it is. It's fun. I like being an auditor. I don't know. I don't want to down. It's fun. I find it interesting. Wait, I don't know why you're talking about. Doesn't Pelosi on Roblox? Okay, yeah. So I just thought this was kind of interesting. I don't know nothing in detail, but did anybody else notice this trend this week that SaaS companies got just obliterated? Right, Shopify and Roblox, SaaS companies. I mean, software as a service, right? That's what they do. So both of them appeared to hit quarter, and then they issued terrible guidance or underwhelming guidance, and then man, just like the market right now, 20-something% drops on that. But that's the current market we're in, I guess. You get punished. Sometimes you can get punished unfairly, and then that can be opportunities for investors. If you feel they do get punished unfairly, that might be a good opportunity for you to get into it. I did this with Alta. I thought Alta got unfairly punished last year when it was like a 25% drop on a quarter. I thought it was so unfair when I looked at it, and it rebounded quite fast after almost all the way back. So that was a good one. But for these, I mean, there are certain YouTubers that will tell you that something like Shopify is 100-year stock. What else? That they have a moat. I heard that one. I'm like, that's funny. A moat. These are some of the reasons why I don't invest in SaaS companies. There is no moat. SaaS companies don't have a moat. All right. It's software. Like they can be disrupted by 3 guys in their garage to me, programming. Look what happened to Adobe, right? They freaked out about Figma and tried to buy it, way overpay for it. So I've never believed that SaaS companies or any sort of, I think moat talk is ridiculous with SaaS companies. Now, like Microsoft is beyond a SaaS company. So we don't need that comparison. They have physical products, right? It's not just software. So it's more than that. But like these are like strictly software services. I mean, disruption is just inevitable. So they have to constantly, to me, churn CapEx to stay at the top because anybody could come up and disrupt their business, I think. And just like I've looked at Shopify and it's just like I didn't find anything that overwhelmingly interesting about what they do. Is there stickiness to this? Like, like if you were to like this company, I guess you'd say like there's a stickiness that someone would take on their infrastructure and they would like it so much. The switching or there's a switching cost that they wouldn't take on. Or you would think Shopify would just always be the best product. You have to believe one of those two. So, but then I've heard also this is like the growth stock of Canada. It was just kind of funny to think like people always say like this is the one growth stock that actually is not a bag of crap from Canada. So maybe some of the Canadian YouTubers buy this just because they want to support their nation. But I mean, I've never really considered this like this. I don't think SaaS companies are that interesting to me long term. I think they're very volatile. And I don't see a lot of the things I would look for in a long-term business hold. I don't see it. So it's just kind of funny because like two companies similar this week, like Shopify and Roblox, they hit their quarter because you can see here they beat earnings per share, revenue, guidance, unimpressive, destroyed, underwhelming. I read the Roblox guidance on underwhelming. Roblox though, man, I've never, other than Nancy Pelosi buying this, like I've never understood the appeal of this business, like just on an accounting basis. You see, like, again, it's like people focus on this, the revenue, right? Revenue growth. And it's like, but beyond the revenue growth, it's just like, I don't know what it's just like, I guess you believe it gets bigger and bigger over time, but like the net income, like they don't make money. The share dilution's not the worst in the world. I've seen worse, but there's no margins. They don't make money. Cash flow, I've looked at before. Like I don't think their operating cash flow is like it's fine, but I've never understood this. And I always worry like, is this a fad? My kids go through phases. Like, how do you know Roblox is something that's here to stay? I don't know. I don't see it. Like games, like I play different games now than I did before, like 5 years ago. Like different types of phases. I've never understood this one. So that's that mistake. But Shopify, I mean, it's a good business. It makes you think though, like, is there something here maybe? I don't want to go into Roblox this quarter. I don't think. Is this Roblox? Yeah, we're not gonna do this one. So could there be something for Shopify as some sort of swing trade? This is not something that I would consider investable long term, but swing trade can be like 2 years. Like to me, like 2 years is still a swing trade. So let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm Canadian, and in my opinion, Shopify is not one of the best investments in public markets here. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why they always say that. I'm like, I get what it does. So I don't know. I don't think I've heard anybody actually was big into Shopify, like in different communities I'm in. You get it. Roblox is the future. Think of all the 12-year-olds stealing their parents' credit cards to buy Roblox. Oh my God. And here's another thing. To buy Roblox, like I am terrified that my kids would like that. And then they would start demanding gift Roblox card credits or whatever. Like they have free games on their computers. They have Super Nintendo Classic. I have a Sega Genesis Classic. What else? They have some tablet with a few games. It gets all free. There's no subscriptions involved. Like this is terrifying, the Roblox thing for me. So I'm like, I can imagine what other parents must think of it. You're just like every time you have to buy those damn cards for the kids and you're like, no. But like I don't find this overly interesting. I think I don't know. I see there's still a potential with this type of a business. It's still impressive growth. Um, I don't know. I don't want to go too far. This is not my bag. Robux is an inflation hedge, therefore bullish. Oh my god. Is it like a token system? But these SaaS companies, I mean, if you want, like, you can look like SaaS businesses, it's like, I don't know, Roblox, COVID, boop. How many times have we seen this? How many stocks have we shown? COVID bump. I can't say that. Shh, don't demonetize me. Lockdown bump, and then slow deterioration to death. Like, there's so many companies like this that we've seen on YouTube over and over and over again. So this scares the hell out of you. If you see a chart like this, man, you got to think twice before you look at it anymore. Do I think Shopify is like this? No, I do not. I think there's more to it than that. It's not total deterioration, right? It makes sense why it spiked during lockdown, right? Online shopping. It's not hard to figure out what happened. Is there any more to it? We'll see. That's up to you to figure out. This could be an interesting speculation investment for somebody. I don't know if I would. I have other things I'd rather look at. I'm gonna keep going. I'm getting tired here. So next topic. Hold on. Where'd it go? Okay. This will be kind of fun. One second. So I wanted to talk about this Matt Derron guy, which is funny because Strongman found him. I was looking at him, thinking about making a video about this, and then Chris brought it up. I'm like, oh shit. That's kind of funny. Because he pops, I mean, he's getting views. So I mean, I guess that's why he popped up and like he pops up on my YouTube a lot too. And I subscribe to him. But so like what caught my eye was like his trading. This video was April. So we talk about like his best and worst trades, just covered what he's done so far. So like some of it caught me, like his performance is like
So I split that time in half and I grouped the results based on if they happened in the first half from about December 2022 to August 2023, or in the last half, which was about September 2023 to April 2024. And here's what I found. My decisions in the first 8 months of the portfolio have a aggregated sum.
So like this caught my eye. So down 7.3%, right? So he said from December 22 to present is when he started this. That's it, because that's what he put here. So if we go, I'll do that in a minute.
Of minus 81.48%, which is just a crazy number. But then the decisions that I've made in the last 8 months.
This is coping to me. It's just like, he's like, it's bad. Like his performance is bad. This is a bull market we're in. This is a bull market. December 22 to present. This has been a great bull market for the the world, not just America. And he lost money. So this kind of caught me. I remember I was listening to this podcast or this YouTube video, and I was like, I think I was at the gym just listening to it, and I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, what the hell is he doing? And he's, he got attention because he did like an SCHD deep dive video that got really popular. And then he wants to trade stocks. He wants to be an investing channel. He's got a Patreon. It's all the things that people put on YouTube. But just the performance, I'm like, and this is his job. This isn't like part-time. Like this is his job. Apparently his story is he used to work for USAA in their, something related to their fintech space. And then he's doing this now. His performance, like just bad. And we can look at some of the stuff he's done. Let's see. So he covers like his best and worst. Where is it? Give me a second. It's funny because so here's his worst decisions. There's no time, but it's obviously December 22 to present because that's what he covered in this. So I'm watching this. I'm like, when? So he bought McDonald's at like $300. Fucking crazy. I couldn't even imagine that. He got wrecked on Starbucks. Wrecked. Not the only one, but bad investment. He got smacked because he sold Waste Management. I remember he got shit for this because he sold Waste Management and bought Apple when literally Apple was at the top. So it was in the 190s. I don't know if it had 200. Literally when Apple was at the top of the freaking hill, he sold Waste Management to buy Apple, and people were giving him hell in the comments because they're like, why, what are you doing buying Apple at this price? They, their sales are slowing for the iPhone. And then the multiple they're at, nobody understood it. And I honestly didn't understand why he was either. So that got wrecked. I just look at this and I'm just like, but if you look at the companies he's buying, if you want to be a stock picker, if you want to pick all your individual stocks, right? And no index exposure. So no core satellite, nothing. It's like, you got to take some risks. And he's just buying big, mature S&P quality companies. That's what I see. Hershey's, Waste Management, American Express, Apple, United Health. These are just very mature, large cap S&P 500 companies. So he gets the same response that probably you're all thinking right now. If this is what you're buying in your portfolio, why don't you just buy the S&P 500? Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you're just buying the top. You're buying quality companies in the top 50 of the S&P 500. So the downside risks are more severe, I think, than some of the upside because it's tough to grow at that size and scale. But then we can look at some of his best buys. Let's see. Okay, let's go forward. I just want the chart. The one thing is funny though, okay, then he goes to his best decisions. Did you notice his best decisions, he puts 3 of them as trimming a position. So he's playing with the soap a lot with his positions. He's buying and selling. He's taking, oh, this is 5.4%. I need to get this down to 4.1% of my portfolio, all this crap. But then he puts it as best positioning decisions. So that's kind of weird. So his top 10 worst are just straight up buying companies. And then he says 3 of his best decisions are trimming positions. Very odd. And again, it's look at all the companies he buys, Hershey's, Google, Lowe's, Amazon, United Health, Valero, Cat, just buying quality, large cap S&P 500 companies. This is, I don't know why you think this is going to outperform the S&P 500. You're just buying, you're just cherry picking companies within the S&P 500, and you're not taking risk. To me, if you want to beat the market, where's the risk? Where's the small and mid cap companies? Where's the actual shots at something that could 4 or 5x? What Peter Lynch would tell you. Where is that? Because that's your shot. You find some little teeny company, I don't know, like Palantir when it was $4, right? Was it Palantir? What was it? Palantir got down to 5, I think. But okay, where are those? That could have been something to give you an edge on a portfolio. I don't see any of that. This guy is just this is not how you win. I think you're going to spend a lot of time. This guy's just going to spend so much time looking at these massive companies. It takes so much time to understand. I'm just I think you're wasting your time. I don't understand. You have no edge in a lot of these. I don't think. I find this such a weird portfolio. That's my take. So I'm looking at some other. So he covers here some of his holdings, and it's just again, it's just Nvidia. Okay, obviously he didn't buy it low because his gain loss is very. So you're buying very quality companies in this portfolio that he's done. McDonald's, you know, like I've said before, I'm like, if you're in your 20s, I don't know why you'd buy McDonald's. I really don't. I don't think it'll outperform the S&P 500. And if it does, it'll be very small. But then you're taking individual stock risk. So what's the point? Amazon, that might be okay. But like, again, all these are mature, large companies. If you're going to pick individual stocks exclusively like this, which I wouldn't, where's the risk? Where's the risk? Where's the small caps? Where's the growth stocks? Where's anything like that? This is just, and but here's the problem. If you want to be a finance YouTuber, this is what you do. You buy quality companies that you can make lots of content on, because there's lots of things to talk about with something like Visa, Amazon, and Nvidia. You can make lots of content. So you buy these companies, you're trying not to get wrecked by the market, right? You're trying not to have like 70% losses. So you're selling you got views, he's calm, he's nice. That's what people talk about. He's informative. But is he really informative? I don't think anything he talks about is of much value. Because it's not, apparently he's not performing well. So you have to pull that part out. I think he just spins a good story about these stocks. I don't think anything is that life-changing about some of these stocks, like the way he talks about them, some of his videos. So, I mean, again, he's a nice guy. I don't think this is worth your time. You could buy an S&P 500 as your core, or a VT. And then you could take some small shots with 5 or 10% of your portfolio on things in your circle of competence. Like, again, like, how is this circle of competence? These are all just massive companies to understand in very different spaces that he's picked. So I don't see no core competence. But if you go to like the video when we talked to Gary Gordon, Fabio, and me, if you go to the beginning, I think we asked him, like, what does he invest in? And he said 20 or 25% of his money is his to pick individual stocks, and he stays in his competency, which is mortgage companies and banks. That's what he said. He looks at what he knows. The rest of his money is professionally managed, which means it's out of his hands, right? There are probably a lot of mutual funds and ETFs. That's a great answer. But this is why. Why would you invest like the way this guy is investing? He's gonna say, well, it's your journey, blah, blah. It's like, well, okay, it's your journey, but I can have a commentary on it. So like, let's look. So remember, he lost 7.3%. So if we chart, well, I can just do the S&P 500. No, we'll do SPY. So we'll go, his chart went from December 23, or no, it was 22. It was December 22 is when he started that chart. So, and I'm sure he's a dividend guy, so we're going to do total return. So you can see he lost 7.3% during this time frame, where SPY went up almost 31% total return. Like that is crazy underperformance, just crazy to lose money in a bull market. And I think he started with 270,000. So you do the math, how much, that's 37% underperformance on $270,000. That's very bad. Like, very bad. Nothing I say is going to stop this guy. Why? Because he likes to talk about stocks, and he has a newsletter. So I would have told him, I mean, if he, who cares what I think, but I would have said, okay, you want to run a YouTube channel, pick stocks. Okay. You got 270 grand. Great. Why can't you take 50,000 of that, do your stock picking? You leave the 210,000 as in the markets, either, pick your poison, SPY, VTI, VT, and you're not destroying or damaging permanently your returns, but you still can pick stocks and do the stuff you enjoy. But it's like, why did the whole thing? Think of the money he lost, 37% underperformance, right? On that 270 grand. So during a great bull market, I mean, that dude should inflate, he thinks he's good at this, which you see in his newsletter, because this is one of his recent newsletters, why he loves picking stocks. And I'll give him credit. He does talk he does bring up the bad negative comments, but then if you look at his videos, you don't find a lot of negative comments, which makes you question where they come from, what happened to the negative comments. So I think he did this because he was in Starbucks and he said Starbucks he got wrecked on, right? 15%. Although I think it was more than that. I think it dropped even more. A lot of times people assume stock pickers think they can outsmart the market to be the next Warren Buffett. I mean, why would you pick stocks otherwise? You think you can outperform the market, right? And also you want to have fun, right? It's a hobby. And that's where I stand at it. The stock picking part is the fun part these days, which is smaller. But let's see. Critics who say index only is the best way to be successful are quick to say this is proof you shouldn't be picking stocks. I mean, we're showing like he is literally an example of why you shouldn't be doing this. You can't call them. It's weird. He's like he's being negative about these critics, but their point is being proved by what you're doing. You know, you're just cherry picking S&P 500 companies. I mean, my speculations are a mix of small caps. There's a micro cap in there. So I don't get it. Let's see. Yeah, here brings in the enjoyable part, which I would say, okay, if you enjoy it, okay, why can't it be a smaller part of your total portfolio? Why does it have to be all of it? Why does it have to be all of it? Listen, you don't, and he's got to don't want to worry about stocks dropping 15% in a day. You don't want the stress of beating the market. I mean, he's just coping at this part. It will teach you a lot about the business. So this part's hilarious to me. Like, to what end though? Like, are any of you going to be executives at a corporation? Like, why do you need to understand the ins and outs of every business you want to invest in? You have to get to a point where you understand enough to know what you're investing in. You cut it and you move on. You don't need to constantly harp on a business to invest in it. I don't follow every detail of every company I have investments in. So, you know, he evaluates their products and he does videos, you know, it sounds great. It's just, I just think a lot of what he talks about is useless, or of little value to you. Competitive moats. Not every company has a competitive moat. He implies that every company that's successful has one, maybe. And I've done a moat video if you want to go look at it. I think there's less moats than you think. But here, like you look at expenses, margins, okay, fine. But we've gone over like Roaring Kitty, go look at that guy. There's how you can really crush an investment thesis. He doesn't do DCFs. Like he'll even tell you what he did. Deep value. So what else did he say? It teaches personal accountability. I don't understand. Like, are we just trying to make money so we can retire before we're like 80 and broken? Like, kind of weird. And then he has this valuation analysis. It didn't serve him too well buying Starbucks. I have not understood the Starbucks thesis, and I showed you last video. I had it at $70. So it's kind of aware of the risks. At $70, it was fine. And then when it ramped to 100 on me in 2022, when the company was having troubles, I read what Schultz wanted to do. I was fine with his plan at $70, but now stock gets to 100. It's a different animal. I got out. So I don't know. I don't know what he saw buying Starbucks around 100 because that's what he had to for what he lost. What else? So that's what I'm thinking. Quick thoughts or whatever. That's his thing. I just think he just wants to talk about stocks all day. And that, like, it's just weird. Like, don't you want to have a career? Again, I go back to, like, why don't you want a career? Careers aren't always fun, but you move up in an organization or you start your own business. It's just so weird. Someone's just like, I want to talk about stocks constantly. And that's all I want to do all day. And then to be so bad, like we have to just face facts. He's not good at this. And his value is there's not really a ton of value. I was debating going through a video of like the things I've publicly shared I've bought, why I bought them. And maybe that's an idea. Just the public stuff I've talked about on my channel. I mean, it's all in the videos. Disney was a specific turnaround play. My submarine investment was based on my understanding of the military. So circle of competency, reading the budget, because I'm an auditor, and understanding the direction of the military. Again, so there's something in there that I would consider advantage in. which he seems to just buy anything that fits in this model he's contrived. I bought this micro cap drone company as a very speculative gamble because they had a specific technology that I thought was interesting, and other companies might think is interesting. It's like 3.5x. That was a risky play, but it paid off, like a Peter Lynch style, I would like to think. So I just don't see any of those things with this guy. That you should be mostly index, and then you use those special skills you may have. There's your beating the market right there with that smaller amount of your money. I don't know. And there's not enough content to talk every day. There just isn't. Like there's been weeks I struggle to find things to talk about that I think are interesting, other than just going over earnings of companies that release, trying to find topics that are beyond that. It's just, sometimes there's nothing to talk about. I go days I don't even look at my holdings, and you should be there too, I think. Send you a screenshot of his total return from Schwab. He's up underperforming SPY by like 10%. Okay, well, oh, okay. All right, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, so he's on way, not, he's underperforming. So what's the point? It's kind of funny how he said his aim isn't to make money on YouTube. Do they? I don't understand, especially him. It's like, this is his job. He doesn't have another job. So why are you doing YouTube? Like, I mean, I have ad revenue on. I'm not going to say it's not part of it, but I have a full-time job. He also said he doesn't want to make money. Wait. Oh, Keemer said that. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Strongman showed that part, so I didn't want to talk about it too much. But then it's funny, like, again, like, okay, I'm a Peter Lynch guy. I've looked at his videos. I don't see Peter Lynch did not buy large, mature S&P 500 companies. Like, so first two books he puts on his book list on Amazon are Peter Lynch books. Again, like, I can't tell you how many times I see YouTubers. They always, you want to say you're a Buffett Peter Lynch guy because that's the name people know. But I'm not kidding you. Like, literally, I bet you 90% of people that talk about Peter Lynch or say they like him, they don't know. They don't follow any of the tenets of what Peter Lynch did. How did Peter Lynch actually invest? This dude is literally doing the opposite. Like, Matt Derron, he's doing the opposite of what Peter Lynch would tell you to do, or what Peter Lynch did to be so successful. And this guy is doing it kills me. Of course, there's a Buffett book on here because everybody's got a Buffett book. Some of these are fine. I mean, actually, it's funny that he has this on here, or financial shenanigans. So I'm reading that. But this doesn't teach you to invest. There's nothing about this book that I'm halfway through it. This is just stories of companies and doing malfeasance with their business practices. It doesn't teach you about investing. Like, this book is literally just for entertainment because I'm an accountant. So it's kind of funny that he puts it on here. Maybe he thinks that makes people think he knows what fraud is, fraud detection. I don't know. Like, this is a fine book, the last one, but this is kind of odd. And then, of course, he's got a Patreon. Well, of course, because he's doing this. If he's not doing this for money, you got to pay to be in his Discord. Fine. Okay. Cap Mindset, you have to pay to be in his. So be it. Like, none of this is like, it's not like a grift. Like, this isn't grifting. Like, I'm not calling him a scammer or a grifter. It's just like, it's just kind of useless what he's doing. And I'm pushing more index. Like, every year I'm more and more being index. My plan. I'm tapering off more into the index way of investing. So when I get to retirement, a lot of it's just automatic. And I'll have just my side speculation for fun, but the risk is being turned off slowly. So there's that guy. Don't go bash him. Just kind of a discussion. Don't go attack the dude on his page. We don't need that. He's not like terrible. There's lots of people that are there's people infinitely worse than that guy. Like those day trading TA people. that guy telling you about stochastics and shark bites and stuff, like Tanner does way more harm to people than that guy, by far. But okay, let me. Okay, now bet you didn't think I would talk about Buffett, did you? He's low key watching Kevin Wine says, especially listening about when he bought Amazon. I did buy Amazon too, so I just don't want to make a video about it because I don't do individual stock videos normally. But yeah, I got an Amazon before. It was with my Disney profits, so it is just tucked away now. And I think the ad story is compelling before earnings. The ad story combined with them actually charging, putting ads into Prime, combined with that, I'm like, this is a compelling business now with what they're doing in AI also. So it's part of my AI thesis to some degree. Yeah. Wait, what did he say? Remember when Joseph bragged about being break even on Netflix after it shot up 50% and he was hammered in money? Oh, okay. Yeah. Few interesting parts about the Buffett story. I mean, some people other channels are better at this. So Buffett massively took trimming to their Apple stake. I think somebody said 13% they took a trim to their Apple position. So holy crap. He's held Apple for a long time. Yeah, here it is. Berkshire reported it sold 13% of its Apple shares, reducing stake to 135 billion from 174 billion. Like, wow. So this is like stuff I'm paying attention to, because like that's crazy. And I understand it. Like Apple's growth seems very anemic at this point. A lot of the story in app, like I did a Twitter post. I'm just like, the buyback story is compelling, but is there really anything else compelling about Apple? iPhone sales, kind of blah. The service revenue is impressive, but the headset's not like, come on, let's face it, people. Like the headset's, it's a cool toy. That's all it is. Like that's not something that's going to be sustainable or a huge part of their business. It's cool that they could show it, the headset. You think people are going to wear those headsets every day? You're crazy. People do not wear tech on their face. I'll probably say that until I'm blue in the face. People do not want to wear technology on their face beyond earpods. So nobody's broken that. So, and Apple hasn't. But, that's interesting that Buffett cut this finally, because I don't think he's trimmed it ever for the most part until now. That was an interesting part of their meeting. Oopsie. This was interesting. He admitted, I saw this part of clip. So they sold all their Paramount. I knew that before. Their filings said they lost a lot of money on it. I honest to God was not sure why I don't understand why anybody bought Paramount, because it was pretty obvious that they were going to be the biggest losers, I think, in the streaming war. To my eyes, I thought of all the players, they were the worst off by far. It's just some of the mistakes they made. I don't think they have a very compelling business. They probably would have been better just licensing their products. They have some decent IP. They have Star Trek, stuff like that. So I'm not sure what he saw in it, but they bailed on it, lost a crap load of money. So that was interesting. Now this is the one I wanted to get into. I don't know if anyone talked about this. So they had a vote on 6 proposals related to diversity initiatives, climate change, and China. So these were proposals put up to investors during the meeting. All of them were overwhelmingly rejected by Berkshire shareholders, which I should say, Warren Buffett, has an outsized position, voting stake to say no to these things. But I think they said here by a margin, I saw 3-1 or 4-1. These proposals were rejected. So here's some of the proposals. Proposal 1, 2, and 3. publish annual assessments addressing how the company manages physical and transitional climate related risks and opportunities. So like creating like climate change committees that have reports to the board, and that which would affect the governing of the company. So to reduce emissions to be in line with Paris Climate Agreement. Nope, they did not do it. Which is funny. Who proposed it? California teacher system. Okay. Berkshire report to shareholders on effectiveness of companies' diversity, equity, and inclusion. Denied. So I don't know who brought. Here's who brought it up. If you want to Google her, go ahead. So they said no. Berkshire separates the role of the CEO and chairman, resulting in Buffett stepping down as chairman. This is an interesting one though, because I don't like they have separate jobs, right? This has always been kind of a weird thing with companies. So the CEO runs a company and the chairman's supposed to be representing you, the shareholder, on the board. So it's kind of, internal control wise, it's kind of weird when it's the same person. But I guess you could say it is up to the decision of the people at the company if they're okay with it. In my opinion, I don't think there should be a law against it. As long as shareholders get all the facts and disclosures and they want to decide that they're okay with the CEO being the chairman, so be it. So they said no to that too. I mean, like when he's gone, I wonder if they will separate these roles. Probably good chance. When he's gone, they'll have a chairman and a CEO separated, which I think is better governance, but obviously it's not a law. So proposal 6, Berkshire receives a commitment that the portfolio avoids supporting or taking public position on any controversial social or political issues. That's just like kind of, yeah, okay, we get it. You don't want them to be woke. Okay, but calm down. Let's not like hamstring the company on something like this. So they rejected all of them. So, someone's like, yeah. So who proposed this? American Conservative Values ETF. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me Google that. Align your investing with your conservative values. I did not know this was a thing. Wait a minute. Oh my God, there's a video. Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second. I did not know this was a thing. Okay, we're going to play this. Second. Okay.
Are you investing in the liberal agenda? Stop. Our belief is that we all either unwittingly or begrudgingly support the liberal agenda with our current investments. The American Conservative Values ETF seeks to boycott as many companies hostile to conservative values as possible without sacrificing performance.
Boycott.
The American Conservative Values ETF, ACVF, align your investing with your conservative values. Carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. Visit acvfetfs.com for a prospectus.
I did not. Well, I'm not surprised. This is a thing. Okay, what is it? ACVF. Okay, let's go take a look. ACVF. Okay. ACVF. Okay, what do you think the number one holding is? Before I look, any guesses? I'll give you guys like 5 seconds. What do you think the number one holding is? Someone's going to cheat. All right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's look. Let's see. Well, hot damn. So apparently NVIDIA is not woke. Microsoft, Berkshire. Well, we know Berkshire is not woke because they said no to the vote. Broadcom, PG, MasterCard, Home Depot. This is like the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Jesus. Okay. So how has this performed compared to SPY? Let's go 3 years. Damn. I did not. Well, I mean, if NVIDIA is number one or Microsoft, I mean, that's kind of funny. It actually is doing really well. Okay, with 5 years. Okay. So 1 year. So 3 year it did better. It didn't do as good. Okay, so for some reason it did better on the 3 year. Interesting. Oh, hot damn. I mean, it's not trash. I mean, it's not bad actually. You've seen a lot worse than this. What's the fee? Oof, oof. 7. Okay, that's ridiculous. But this is actively managed though. Someone's deciding if these are woke companies or not. Maybe I should do an ETF review of this. You know what? I'm gonna write that down. I might do an ETF review of this at some point. It's kind of interesting. I don't hate it. I mean, hey, if this is your beliefs, uh, then there you go. There's a product for you. I don't know what they consider woke. That'd be kind of funny. Like, what is actually do they consider a woke company? So it should be in their filings. Like, what do they actually look at to make these decisions? Um, I don't know how much detail I'll have. Did this conservative portfolio buy Trump stock? Good question. They don't have. I can't download all of it. Maybe I can see. We'll go to their website. All right, where's holdings? Am I missing it? Fact sheet, fund data. That's not it. I don't see holdings on here. ETF overview. ETF data, fund material. Do they not have their holdings on their website? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it. It wasn't in the top 10. I know that. Dang, interesting. Yeah, I wonder if they do have Donald Trump's stock. They have like 320 holdings, it said. Some might be one of the smaller ones. It's kind of funny. I saw this chart. It's a little outdated. So this was a survey done asking people if they consider ESG in their investments, in their decision making for investments, and you could see like it went down for the first time ever according to this survey in 2022. I mean, obviously we don't have 23, so before that it was increasing in people's minds. So I think it has gone down a little bit in popularity these days, the ESG cause. So, and then you've got Berkshire saying nope, shareholders are not going to do this. You've got ExxonMobil in active lawsuits against activist investors who are trying to force their hand to reduce their carbon footprint and accelerate their climate plan. So Exxon's fighting back and saying, you're not really investors, you're activists. You only are here to start a fight like these people. So they're fighting back. You can read some of what they've said. So there's like this group, Arjuna Capital, which I looked them up a little bit. So this is the fights that these companies are going through. But like, and I've shown in the past, like New York State has, the New York State pension fund is like ESG on steroids. It's even beyond ESG, and California's pension system is the same way. I mean, would you expect anything less? That's the way things are going politically with pension funds. A lot of pension type funds do not invest in certain things like oil and gun companies. It is what it is. And the only unfortunate thing, like we don't have a say in it. So at least Berkshire, the shareholders voted on if they wanted to apply these things to it, which I respect. Like I don't get a say. That's one thing kind of is a bummer. Like there was never a decision by the pension holders or people that were going to be in the get a pension, whether you would adopt these principles for the pension investments, but we're not responsible for the funds. So I don't worry about these things. Most companies are just pretending to be progressive for woke, or to some degree. When it starts interfering with business, people get axed. See Google, lots of window dressing. Yeah. To me, it's like everyone's DEI and inclusive until it starts affecting performance. And then all of a sudden you start just chopping heads out the friggin', people start getting fired. Yeah, DEI is a separate topic from ESG. It's like okay, how many of these entities are you going to have? Like these packaged, like BlackRock packaged ESG to give it to investors, right? So they probably saw something that people were interested in, some parts, but then they created a packaged product that was ESG, and then they made that the investable item, just like Moat. Morningstar made Moat. So now people can reject it, and maybe it'll change to something else. Yeah, Budweiser. Budweiser made some big mistakes, like attacking your own customers. Companies like that. I don't know. Who am I to say? It's up to these CEOs. It's a tough call. We say stay out of it, but then people start yelling at them that they aren't saying anything. Then their own employees will start saying they need to take a stand on things like Google or something. Tough game. So that is that. Yeah. The covered call ETF, I got the research done. It's just I got to put it together. Recording videos takes longer than streaming because I have to have it all in order, and then after I do it, I have to edit the video slightly. So I'm probably going to break it into two. It'll be one or two because I'm going to do two variations of a covered call ETF. The one that's like actively managed, where like the portfolio manager is literally making decisions on what to do with the options. And then the secondarily will be just like QYLD, where it's just robotic, right? QYLD. And then the other ones that are the same process from Global X, they just every month buy a specific product. So there's no like, it's just robotic. So maybe I'll just do one video, easy enough. Oh, you can't own Fox now that it's part of Disney. No, you can buy. No, Fox is still a public company, isn't it? Fox News. Yeah, you still buy Fox. I don't know if I've ever even looked at this as an investment. I have no idea. This is the most conservative stream I've ever done in my life. I'll review that conservative ETF at some point. I think it's kind of intriguing because I'm kind of curious more about what it actually considers a woke company. How do they actually define that to tell you it's hot garbage they won't buy? So it's kind of cool. It hasn't done terribly. So thank you for tuning in. That's about it. Any question? I don't know what kind of questions you would have, but other than that, I should play. I got a busy weekend of Mother's Day stuff. We're going to a pub brewery that's doing a Mother's Day event. So they have music, food, all that stuff. That's what my mom and me want to do. And then sports, lots of kids sports. So anyways, stay tuned. I'm sure I'll have more negative Tanner videos. That guy kills me. Wait, let's check this. Oh, lovely. There you go. Dan, you're an idiot. SoFi is the future. Dan, you're stupid. That Gary guy doesn't know anything. He's a boomer. Okay. Well, let's check the 1 year. Okay. Does anything make money? Oh, look, 1 year. Okay. Yeah, when it was like $4. Okay. Every chart basically is red, but yeah, but what do I know? I don't know anything. So anyways, have a good night, everyone. I don't have a guest, so I can do a long outro. Yeah, I'll do the good one. Where is it? All right. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. See you later.